Um,
All right,
41.
we're live. 41 seconds, yeah. This is kind of a bonus episode, bonus video for episode 7.
Yep.
I'm Stoic Nuvo.
It's Dark Regret. And joining us is
Spiky.
Spiky.
Spiky on BNet. Sent us a replay, having some trouble with ZVP, especially 78 all-in Blink Stalker, which is pretty popular. And David's going to go through this replay, give some pointers. So
All right, let's go.
We'll go on to your view, start at 41 seconds. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
3.
1 second.
Okay.
All right, ready when you are.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay. Alright, so everything looks pretty standard so far.
Drones, no 6 pool.
You should pay a little bit more attention to the drone stacking.
You're also good at drone following another drone.
Yeah, it's not about the drone stacking. It's more, it's not worth it to focus on stacking a drone if it's going to make one of your drones build time slightly late. So what will happen here is you're going to miss drones here. So see, the drone could have been built a little bit earlier there, and it's going to compile up. So now you're at 50, and you're not building it. 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 And you build it at 100 here. So, like, if you do stuff like this at like the 5-minute mark or the 10-minute mark, it doesn't really make a difference. But at the beginning of the game, it does, because the last thing you want to do is to have larvae sitting there for too long at the beginning of the game. Because without queen injects, you're only allowed a maximum of 3. So the minute you sit on 3 and don't build anything without an inject, it doesn't just stall your drone's mining, but it stalls the production of your larvae too. So just have to be careful on that.
That throw off your timing's pretty bad when you...
Yeah, like here, once again, you're at 14. And like your pool would have been able to be put down now if everything was ready. So as you can see, that's significantly early. So now your pool is about 6 seconds late in-game time, which is not really a big deal, but it's just, it adds up. Anyway, so you're doing a little bit of a risky build here. You're doing hatch first. Usually this is not done, but that's alright. He is letting it go by, so this is good. I like how you have that drone there, just in case he walls off, just because this is not MLG version. The one thing that you do go into here that we should talk about now is your choice of strategy going into this game. So you already opened the absolute best economic build possible. He lets you hatch first, and you know that he's cannon expanding. So the thing about playing against Protoss cannon expanding is for the first 6 or 7 minutes you are completely safe from anything. I mean, the absolute most he can do is send at most 4 zealots to you, and that's such a heavy investment to do at that stage of the game. It wastes a lot of his chrono boosts, and it kills off 400 minerals when he should be building probes. So because you're so safe at that point, you have to decide on how you're going to gain your lead by doing something that you cannot normally do when a player is opening like a 3-gate, just because that build is a little bit more aggressive and he can have units, so you can actually die. So the most common thing to do is to build a super early third, even in a location that's super far from your second and your third base. And the reason why it's safe is because if he opens cannon expand, he can't actually kill you. So by the time he has enough units to kill you, you have that base saturated and you can start production of units. And if you don't want to do that, you don't necessarily have to play 3-base style like that, then you need to tech at a ridiculous rate. So whenever people stay on 2 bases against cannon expand, you want to put down your double gas as fast as you possibly can to get that layer super fast. That will allow you to surprise him with high-tech units like mutas, for example, or even infestors. So just because you're not getting a 3rd base, like it's way past the mark. The 3rd base at latest should be down at 30, so you're already way past that. So that strategy is completely out the door. But if you wanted to do double gas, then I would have done it at about 27. I would have put down 2 gas. Because what that would have allowed you to do here is, by this time at 41 food, you would have had like 150 gas. So you can layer tech way before the 6-minute mark. And all you have to do is deny scouting with your lings and deny scouting with your queens, and he won't actually know what tech path you're going, because there's no way, even if he made an observer, for him to actually scout that. So here's going to be the problem that we're going to see with staying on 2 base and trying to be economical by taking a late gas. So what's going to end up happening is your deposit of your minerals and your gas are not going to even out. And the reason why is because you're going to have so much production value because you're saturating on 2 base fully so quickly, but you're not going to have enough larva to produce the amount of units you'll need to hold off pushes or even to be aggressive if you want to do that. And the reason why is because you're only on 2 hatches. So, I mean, even if you built a macro hatch, it would have been better at this point because it would have given you some kind of a production value. 2 hatches on 2 base saturated is not enough.
So if he was
hatches.
if he was gonna stay on 2 base, where should he have taken his gas?
Well, definitely at 27, as early as possible. If you're going to stay on 2 base against Cannon Expand, you must tech super fast, because Cannon Expand is very, very economical. So if you don't take that 3rd base, you're going to fall behind drastically. Like, you look at the probe count right now, he's at 41 and you're at 43, and that's it. So if the probe counts are so similar, the only way you can be mining more minerals is if you're saturated on 3 bases instead of just 2. Because then when you split 16 drones across, you'll mine more. So this layer is way too late for a strategy like this. And this 3rd is so late that it's completely irrelevant that it's actually there. It's more acting as just a macro hatch. And not only that, but the macro hatch itself is too late. Because as you can see, your mineral deposit right now, you have more than enough to afford way more units than you actually have. Like, you should be at 80 food right now, but you're only at 55. So your minerals are going to pull up here, and this is going to hurt you quite a bit. Well, it does look like you want to be going roaches. You are getting the range upgrade. So I'm pretty sure you go into burrow at this point, which is really smart. If you want to focus on roaches, burrow will always be a good choice. But like I said, your production will just not be enough at this point. So it does look like he's going to be doing a blink all-in on you, and you should have been able to hold this, but just your production is not going to match your econ. So he's going to be moving up now. And you can see if you had 3 hatches at this point, you would have a lot more units than you actually have. Like, at this point, by the time he hits your base, it's going to be 10 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, you should be at 100 food. So it's going to be 100 food against his 70, and there's no way he would have been able to break you. But because of the build you chose, you're not going to have that much. So this is going to be pretty difficult. See, that's 3rd base is never going to be saturated. It's just a macro hatch. And because it's going to be a macro hatch, that inject that you just did, it's late because it doesn't take into effect until you actually start fighting. So that macro hatch should have been there a lot earlier, so you can actually use it. So all we're going to see here is you should have had a lot more units than you have right now. That's all.
It's pretty close. Pretty close. You almost got burrow, but so the main point here was just if you're gonna do this 2 base strat tech, then what would be the right choice here to tech to?
Mutas would have been really scrappy. It could have worked. You just did a lot of spine crawlers. But the ideal thing to do would have been infestors. This push that he did was kind of weak and so late that he would have ran into maybe 5 or 6 infestors, and if you mass slinged behind that, then blink stalkers would have been obliterated pretty easily.
Now, if you're doing the 3 base strat, what's your play? Like, if he had taken the 3rd base to the right, like the natural
the way he did it, you would have just had enough units. Like I said, at the point he had about 70, you should have been at 100, so I don't even have to wait for him to come to my base. I would just fight him in the middle of the map, and there's nothing he can do. And
to get there, if you're going to do this 2 base, can you treat it like 3 base and just kind of do a macro hatch in your base, or is that not?
You can, but it's kind of pointless because, like I said, the only reason why I don't want my 3rd hatch to be elsewhere, I want it to be in my base, is because I'm scared that he's going to be able to punish it. But like we mentioned, when someone opens Cannon Expand, you're very safe for the first 7 minutes. And on a push like this, you're actually safe for the first 9 minutes and 50 seconds. That gives you a ton of time to saturate that base. It gives you a ton of time for that 3rd base to actually take effect economically, which is why your unit count would have just skyrocketed. Like, if he's going to do this bad push, then you're going to have 100 supply to his 70, plus a round of lings coming. So if you fight him before he does his second warpment of units, there's no way he can do anything because he doesn't have enough sentries in this army composition. So,
Awesome.
but if it's a little bit of a better Blink Stalker all-in, then basically usually what it comes down to, which is why the push is timed to be about the 10-minute mark, is that's about the mark where the Zerg player and the Protoss player start to be equal in worker count. So it looks like something like the Protoss will have 45 and the Zerg will have like 46 drones. And that's exactly the time where the Zerg will be able to shoot up in drones all the way to like 55. And the thing is, if the Zerg can sense that this push is coming and just build nothing but units at that point, it's really easy to stop the push. But it's really difficult to kind of think that he's going to be doing this push, because if you scout the front of his base when he's doing a blink all-in like this, he's only going to show you like 2 or 3 sentries because he's focusing on blink. So sometimes what that will say to me is, oh, he's going DTs or he's going Void Rays because he doesn't have a gas deposit into sentries. So if you think that, then the proper response would be to build spore crawlers at each base, and right when we're at 45 and 45 drones and probes, I'm going to build my round of drones at that time. So that kind of screws you over, because now you have a lead in drones at like 55 drones to his 45 probes, but he's about to all-in you, so all of those that could have been units were not units. So all you have to do there is kind of guess which base he's going to attack, and build as many spine crawlers as you can in that base. Worst comes to worst, especially on Shattered Temple, a lot of the times I take the really irregular third, like at those positions. I would have taken the far right hand side base, the one that you don't have to kill the rocks from. So if I took a base like that, then I would just take all my drones in that base, run them into my second base, and build my spine crawler in my second base, because protecting my second base and my first base is more important. And then if he goes to the third, let him kill it, which would be great for me because now the spines are up and he can't kill me. And if he goes into my second base, then you just kind of pull drones and fend off the all-in. Hopefully the spines go up. And it's an all-in, so it's going to be close. But if the push gasses out, then you just win the game, because you're ahead 10 drones. So you have room to lose 10 to 15 drones during the attack, and you're still way ahead because you have an extra base. And that's pretty much it.
Have you got any questions, Spiky?
Yeah, just one quick question. Do you not like to Overlord sacrifice to like verify? Because like I knew that it was coming. I saw the Twilight Council and all the gateways. So do you generally just try to just scout in the front and be as greedy as possible? Is that what you like doing?
Well, there are times when you can Overlord scout, but I'm not talking about the one he did, because the one he did, the timings are a little bit off. So whether through Overlord scouting or just simply running Zerglings into to the front of his base, you can see that something is going to come at you. But like the proper push is designed to come at that time where the Zerg wants to increase their drone count over the Protoss player finally, because he's been chrono boosting his probes, so you can't actually beat him in worker supply yet. So that kind of timing is not like I'm gonna wait 40 seconds for my Overlord to see what he's doing and then build that round of drones. It's literally like I'm at 450 minerals. I'm either gonna press S and hold D, or I'm gonna press S and hold R, like right there. So it's just 2 different ways of reacting to it based on what you just produced. That's all. If I made those round of drones and I see it coming, I have to use spines. I have no choice because I have no more larvae. And if I know it's coming, because he moved out and I saw 3 stalkers from the Zerglings in front of his base right before I was going to build those drones, and I built nothing but Zerglings, then great for me. I just built nothing but units at that point. So that's pretty much all it is. It's just like saying, at the 11-minute mark, do I want to Overlord scout into his base if I see nothing but like 2 stalkers or 2 zealots in the front of his base? I don't really need to, because I'm about 95% sure he's going Void Rays. So I can pretty safely blindly build a bunch of spore crawlers at each base. I mean, you can go and scout to be 100% sure, but if you watch your games carefully, you'll see that every build that a Protoss player does will directly translate to which gases he's taking and how many units he can produce at that point. So if you scout at like 9 minutes and you see 5 sentries, you know that it's probably some kind of a Robotech. If I have an Overlord, not inside his base so it won't die, but looking at his 2 extra gases in his second base, and I see them go up at the 7-minute mark, I know that it's going to be a 2-star gate play, or he's going to do something crazy like drop 4 DUTs into my base or something. So Spore Crawlers will counter all of that. So generally, I don't think it's necessary. Not at all.
Alright, and then one last quick question. I did scout, like I scouted at 8 minutes, and I was able to see all of his gateways and his Twilight Council, and I was sitting at 40 Harvesters. If I knew this kind of all-in was going to come, which I did know, I did squeeze out drones, which you have suggested I not try to get ahead in drones and just pump out units at this point, because I made a round of drones when I saw those.
Or just use that round of drones to build Spine Crawlers. That would have been fine too.
Yeah, you can do either.
But definitely the mistake is not how you reacted to it. I would fix your game plan overall. Because like I said, if the proper push is done to you, it will actually kill you regardless of whether you know it's coming. Not because of a control or a defensive thing. It's just you will not have enough production to stop it. You will eventually gas out. Because even if you stop the first round, the Blink Stalkers will keep coming and coming and coming. And your macro hatch was way too late. You will eventually just run out of units. You'll run out of larvae.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm good.
That's it.